Peace FM 90.5 Jos. Good morning and welcome to today's edition of the program. This is Good Morning Plateau. Today being Friday, it is the last edition for the week. And being the last edition for the week, I'd like to say that a topic of very, very high importance would be looked at on the program this morning. For economic activities to thrive, these areas would have to be looked at properly. One, water. Yes, they say water is life. The other part is movement, which is transportation. You need to go about to be able to carry out business successfully. And then thirdly is the issue of power, which is very, very critical to the growth of any society. This morning on Good Morning Plateau, ending the week, we want to look at the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission, that's the PSERC, with the issues on the burner to include the breakdown of PSERC's band system, estimated billing, and other consumer complaints. To help us understand the issues, we have carefully brought in Engineer Julius Agati. He is the Commissioner Engineering Service of the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission in the studio. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
We also have Engineer Hamisu, Jigawa. Jigawa State. Okay, Engineer Hamisu is the Jigawa State Operating Officer of JED.
Plateau State Operating Officer of JED.
Okay, so
Jigawa is part of
the name. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, my apology.
No problem.
Oh,
Good morning, Plateau.
And then lastly, we have Engineer Emmanuel T. Yimba. He's the head technical NESCO. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Plateau people. I'm happy to be here.
All right, interesting to set this conversation to sail. I'd like to understand, because it wasn't too long ago we heard about the unbundling of the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, and that gave birth to what we have right now as the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission. Take us through the journey. How did we arrive at that? What necessitated the whole idea of saying, let's have this body?
Based on the federal government's review of the constitution that mandates the states to generate electricity, the Electricity Act of 2023, it gave birth to the decentralization of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. States were mandated to generate, transmit, and distribute electricity. And based on that, the Plateau State Electricity Law came into being that established the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission.
Interesting. So, what then are the functions of Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission? For instance, if you're dealing with JED, JED is a body that transcends Plateau State. How would you relate with a body like that? Since I'm sure if you go to Benue, you have a JED there and other states. So how would you operate in such a scenario?
In such a scenario, based on the electricity law, each state is supposed to have its own electricity regulatory commission. And here in Jos, we are not dealing with JED. JED comprises of Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, and Makodi.
Benue.
Yeah. And we here in Plateau, we have the Plateau State Electricity Distribution Company. That's a segment of JED, and it's the one that we are being mandated to regulate, oversee, and monitor their activities in terms of electricity.
Okay, and then so at this point, I'd love to know about the legal steps. Basically, we're looking at the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission. Then we'll divulge to now look at the major power companies in Plateau State, which of course is JED and then NESCO. But then let's look at the legal framework or the legal steps that we're taking to get to the point of having the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission.
The legal steps taken was the review of the Nigerian constitution, thus by creating a situation whereby each state is to generate, transmit, and distribute. And that's why the electricity law of the 2023 that came in that decentralized the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, and it empowered states to come up with their own law to establish their own Electricity Regulatory Commission.
Interesting. Okay, let me come to the other segment of this conversation, which is dealing with the power companies. Let me come to Engineer Hamisu Jigawa, who is the State Operating Officer of the Jos Electricity Distribution. From your own point of view, what do you make of this relationship that you are going into with the Plateau State? It used to be the National Electricity Commission, Regulatory Commission. Now it has been unbundled to state. So what would the relationship be like?
Okay, thank you. Like said by the Honorable Commissioner Engineering of Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission, the Electricity Act of 2023, as signed by the President, give right to the state to establish their own Electricity Regulatory Commission. We are mandated as a distribution company to register a subsidiary company with the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission, and that is we have an interim license from them to operate. They gave us an interim license under the name Plateau Electricity Distribution Company. A Plateau Electricity Distribution Company is a subsidiary of Jos Electricity Distribution Company. The advantage of having a state regulatory close to you is something that is a win-win. Both sides, we sit, we discuss, we see the way how we can improve the supply availability, the quality, as well as the market, the electricity market within Plateau State, because they have the power to legislate over or to regulate over the electricity market in terms of tariff, in terms of looking at the estimated billing, metering, and other aspects of electricity business within Plateau State. It's a very good relationship we're having with them. Even yesterday we have had a program, Customer Consultative Forum, and they were part of the invited guests to be there, so that at least let them see how we interact with our customers. Let them hear the complaints from our customers and what steps are we taking to address some of those complaints. It's an opportunity for the Plateau State people that they have a regulatory commission now close to them. If they have any issue regarding our services, our operations, or whatever, you don't have to reach to Abuja. No, now you have a regulator close to you. One good thing with electricity business is fully regulated business, fully regulated, if not over-regulated. As it is now, we have two regulators. We have regulators at national level, we have regulators at the state level. So wherever we moved, it's regulation that is pushing us that we have to be on the straight path. So this is a business that is been regulated, and is a win-win to the customers, and we hope and we pray, based on the discussion we are having with the regulators, to find a way of getting it right in the sense that we have to be able, whatever we are selling, we should be able to make a gain. As it is now, we are suffering huge losses in Plateau, but we are in discussion with them to see how we can cap or reduce this level of losses, so that at least the business should be profitable, and that will be able to allow us to expand our network, strengthen our network, and at the same time increase the supply availability to the customers. I'm
curious, when you say you are operating at a loss, what is necessitating that?
Yeah, when I say we're operating at loss, as it is now, we have a tariff at which we are buying this energy from the market. As it is, Plateau State is not generating enough to sell to us, or we can say that the energy we are selling in Plateau is generated in Plateau. No. This is an energy generated at the national grid and is transmitted by transmission company. So we have to pay the cost of generation from where it is produced. They pay the cost of transportation that bring it down to Plateau State. And at the same time, we have to have additional cost of the distribution, our other overhead costs, the staff, the logistics, and whatever that you see this supply in your premises. So the rate at which we are buying and the rate at which we are selling, it should be a profitable level. But as it is now, because of the level of energy theft that we have, despite the level of metering penetration we have in Plateau, a lot of people have been tampering, bypassing, some hanging their wires, abandoning the meters. A business cannot continue like that, and it is part of the issues. I say we're in discussion with the Regulatory Commission to see how we can strengthen that, maybe having a sort of maybe like a mobile court that will deal with electricity offenders, especially in terms of energy theft and what have you. So that will help us at least to see that the market is now profitable. As it is now, they are seeing our books, everything is open. They are seeing a rate at which we are buying this energy, and we are allowed to sell band A at about 209. But as it is now, we don't even make 50% of that 209 in most of the periods. There are certain locations, out of the 209, you cannot even recover 30 naira. So the level of energy theft is so huge that we are running at loss as it is, because what we are recovering is not even enough to pay the market obligation, not talk of other maintenance and network expansion and other areas of that will improve the supply availability and the quality to the customers.
All right, let me come to NESCO, Engineer Emmanuel Yimba. What is the effect of all of this, or the impact to the activities of NESCO?
Impact of?
Yes, the new body.
Yes, the electricity market is a very big one. It is as big as Nigeria, and the regulation has brought the eye of the general overseer closest to the state, meaning that ab initio you could only rely to get SOCO from Abuja, that is the headquarters of NERC, and now for you to be able to assess the dynamics, the macro and the micro aspect that affect the business in Plateau. What affects Plateau may be different from what affects Benue or Bauchi or Lagos. So now, sitting in Abuja to subzoom into these market dynamics will not give you pretty good result. But now that they are on ground, because they know the peculiarity of every dynamics that exists in the Plateau State electricity market, it will be very easy to solve. Now, just like the man from JEDC said, the most issue that affects electricity market in the Plateau is energy theft, coupled with illegal mining that has affected our infrastructure so drastically. Because you wake up one morning and you discover that a whole span up to 10 are grounded, because especially NESCO has existed for over close to a century now, and most of these infrastructures were erected to supply miners, and then they still exist within those locations where people have not really settled. So there are still mining activities going in there. So the unmined areas that these lines were routed, people are now carrying out mining activities. So it's also affecting. And so it is a very good opportunity that the regulator is now within the state, that understands the dynamics, the workings of the state, so that it will be very easy for us to relate and look for ways to curb these issues.
Thank you very much. Okay, let me come back to the regulator. We can only say the power sector has succeeded only when we see light for 24 hours. That's when we would say it has succeeded. Are you going to work towards that? What would you be doing that people who patronize these power companies indeed get value for money?
Thank you for that question. As a regulator, we'll make sure that all the laws are put in place, just like the JD man made mention, that this high rate of vandalization and illegal connections. Will come up with laws that will be very punitive, that the perpetrators of such will be dealt with, and it will reduce the acts in which they involve in vandalization and illegal connection. And as a regulator, we will come up with laws that are very friendly, that will encourage investors to come in and invest, such that by the time they invest, it will improve the economy, the GDP of the state, and everything.
Okay. Yes, in improving the GDP. So what effort would you be making in terms of improving electricity that beyond the punitive measures now that you have highlighted, what concretely would you be doing? For instance, it used to be monopoly. It was said to be monopoly. And then we had the unbundling, which led to the coming of JED. I'll ask the man from NESCO shortly, but then you are the one now who is in charge. I don't have to go to Abuja. All the workload that Abuja used to carry, that's the NERC. It is now the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission that is carrying that. So what is peculiar for Plateau State that the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission would be going into different from what the NERC would have gone into?
Well, knowing fully well the peculiar problems that is associated with Plateau State and with the electricity providers in the state, will address their problems best as it is, because going to Abuja, it will take time. And since we are here, we know the peculiar problems of our people, our indigenes. We will support them, we will give them all the necessary support to see that they succeed, both in terms of physical support and whatever we can do in terms of sensitization, in order to enlighten our people so that they should do the needful. And we also try to see how we can, because part of our responsibility is to monitor, supervise, and oversee, and to also protect the customer's interest. So we'll do both, such that whatever is being generated should be judiciously used across the chain, such that it will, the JED, NESCO, who are the service providers, should not suffer, but rather it should cut across, should create a leveling ground for all the players, so that nobody should be shortchanged.
All right, let me come to Engineer Yimba. Yes, let me come to you. Let's look at this issue of a spread. Obviously, you should be more than where you are right now.
Sure.
Yes, you should be like the alternative. If I'm not picking JED, I should go for NESCO. But for instance, my area, I don't have that privilege of making a choice. With this development, are we saying that, or should we be expecting that it's time for NESCO to grow, to give JED a fight?
Absolutely. Okay, let me take us down memory lane. NESCO was created since 1929. It has been around, and it's into the generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity on the plateau. Hitherto, it's distributed up to Abuja, Nasarawa, and other adjoining states. But as time went on and the 2005 Electricity Act took effect, we were dwindled to stay within plateau as a result of also capacity. So because of the aging state of the equipment, we were restricted to stay within the plateau. But with the advent of this new law, we are aggressively trying to modernize our equipment, upgrade them to see how we could cover grounds. Currently, we are in 7 local governments because of, as I said, the capacity. But we're in talks with some OEMs to see how best we can modernize use the same dams that we have, harness water, use the same other infrastructures, but just change the machines that will upgrade the capacity that we are currently serving, so that we could hit all nooks and crannies of the state, and if possible, sell to JED or give to the grid, because we have the capacity to generate. So it's a big market and a big opportunity for NESCO.
Wow, can't wait for that. Let me come. Anyway, I am surrounded by engineers. I just noticed that. So let me come to Engineer Hamisu Jigawa. Now, let me be particular about this, and I'll ask the regulator a little later. Let's talk about this issue of metering. I live in the community, so I hear what the people say. Sometimes too, I have my own experience to share. People are saying that JED is injecting additional bills to the meters. How true is that? And should I say that's too straight a question. Why do people complain about that? That should be what I should be asking you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. As it is, we are doing metering, and the metering are in different categories. Presently, the most popular now we are doing is the DISREV. It's a federal government through World Bank initiatives. It's a metering that is free to the customers. We are installing about 109,000 meters across the 4 states. Plateau is taking the lead, being we have the chunk of the customers in Plateau. Yes, the customers are complaining that bills are being injected. It's not that bills are being injected. What we are dealing with is customer account number. Either you're on postpaid or you're on metered. If there are debt on your bill as a postpaid customer, if you are metered, the same debt will be migrated to the meter, because it's the same account number we are dealing with. So customers feel that if you remove me from the bill and you install meter for me, it's a different scheme. Why should I see debt on it? No, it's still the same account number. Either you are postpaid or prepaid. So if you have an outstanding debt on your bill as a postpaid customer, if we install a meter for you, the same debt will be migrated. Initially, it takes time before we migrate such a debt. Some have been complaining that after 4, 5 years, 10 years of installing a meter for me, just of a sudden I woke up today, I saw a debt. Yes, the debt was not migrated immediately in some, not until now, because we realized that this debt are still hanging. It is important for the customers to know the privatization that was done of the electricity sector. There are asset and liability. Whatever in terms of debt that you're owing, the federal government is still following on that debt. Not that the federal government has already forfeited that debt. No, they already set up an organization called Nigerian Electricity Liability Management Company, and they have a mandate to collect such outstanding debt, meaning the legacy debt that were there before the privatization. So they taken note of all those debt, and when we are reconciling our books, they noted that this is part of the legacy debt owed by Mr. So, and they have accumulated, they know the total amount as outstanding debt that we took over. And they are expecting that at any time when they check our books and they realize that that customer has paid, so they will say, okay, part of our debt as so was this, now is this, meaning that you must have collected our outstanding debt, you have to remit this amount to us. So we have no right to say that we have forgiven debt. No, it's not our own, it's a market money. Whatever you see in terms of debt is money that belongs to the electricity market, and we have obligation to collect and pay to the market that money. as it is. If you check, and it's no longer hidden, it's something that has been on the print and electronic media. Sometimes around last year and early this year, the National Assembly has summoned some disco about debt and what have you. And at a point, they said the federal government was paying part of their own liability up to about 3 or 4 trillion. So it's not something that is hidden. These are money that belongs to the market. The one good thing with electricity is a chain from the generation to the transmission and the distribution. But the funny is, the distribution, we are the lower level. We are the ones servicing the entire value chain. So whatever you give, whatever the customer pay is what is going back to the generator. If you pay the transporter, there's no way you pay the person that generates electricity, and ultimately, definitely, the market will not be that liquid enough to support whatever investment.
All right, let me come to the regulator, Engineer Julius Agati. You're the Commissioner Engineering Services of the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission. Now let's talk about complaints. How do we make our complaints this time around? If I have anything against NESCO or I have anything against NEPA in terms of services being given me, how do we go about complaining? Because if I go to them now, they may say, hey, that is it, it's done and dusted. But with you being the third eye, what will be the difference in terms of checking the activities of the service providers to the good of the customer?
Yes. As it is, under normal condition, you are being served by a service provider, either NESCO or JEDC. And in a situation whereby you have a complaint, the first point of call is to go to their office. That's either JEDC's office or NESCO. And when you complain, and after 15 working days, the problem is not being addressed, then you can channel the complaint to Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission's office at 30 Hotel, the ground floor, to seek redress. And we will thereby call the attention of either JED or NESCO to harmonize and to make sure that such complaints are being handled.
Will it be done verbally or how?
Well, we have a line. The number is 0811-810-4836. You either complain or you come to the office, or you can put it in writing and submit it in the office.
I know that previously, if I have an issue with NEPA, I'd write, get them to sign or stamp. By the time they stamp, that's the document I now use to go to. So I'm sure that's still the same mode of making the complaint.
Yes, it's one of the ways of making the complaints.
Okay,
yes.
Interesting. NESCO, is that the same case too with you?
Yes, when the customer comes to complain, and then we try as much and quickly as possible to resolve. But sometimes complaints or resolution sometimes depends on customer's perception. The way he perceives how the solution should be may not be a standard regulated solution, and so even when you solve it, they may tend to disagree. So sometimes those disagreements exist, and then they are mandated to write to PSERC for redress. And then when such is done, they look at it from the regulatory side, what is the law, what is required by the DISCO, what is required by the customer, and then a balance is struck, and then a resolution is made. But we try as much as possible so that our complaints are resolved before, so that they won't be escalated.
It doesn't snowball.
Yes, it's questionable when you cannot resolve your internal problems and you have to be reported to the regulator. It doesn't go down well. So we try as much as possible to see how our issues are resolved within the stipulated timelines.
All right, listener, this is Good Morning Plateau. We're reaching you from the studios of Peace 90.5 FM stereo here in Jos. The focus this morning is on the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission, with the issues on the burner to include the breakdown of the PSERC band system, estimated billing, and other consumer complaints. We have had the first part of this conversation. When we come back, we will be looking at the point of the caller. We'll be expecting the calls to come in. You can do that through the phone line. Better still, you can reach us through Facebook. On Facebook, that's PRTVC, or the Plateau Radio Television Corporation official on Facebook, to send in your comment and contribution on the program. We'll be right back. As we say, don't go away, because the conversation continues after the break. Welcome back and good morning once more. This is Good Morning Plateau on Peace 90.5 FM stereo, Jos. I'm sure the caller is eager to go at this point in time. So to be a part of this conversation, we're looking at the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission, its activities, and how it has come in to help the power situation on the plateau. You need to call the number 08125886048, 08125886048. Reach us on Facebook. Go to Plateau Radio Television Corporation official. Drop your comments there and your contribution, and then on the program we would have them attended to. There's a caller already on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, and the guests in the house. Good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, you are speaking to Honorable Stephen Kim. They call me the ultimate from Barkinladi Local Government Council of Plateau State.
Stephen Kim, go ahead.
Honestly, I appreciate your guest this morning, because you have made everything about electricity available for us. That is about the regulatory body generating and then distribution. That is it. Thank you very much. My complaint is, one, NESCO started generating electricity, as the guest said, 1929 in Barkinladi, particularly Kura Force, which some of us were not on earth then. Then when we were children, we knew how well NESCO was doing, and the social services they were extending to our people. But today, I don't see such services. I don't see them to their immediate community. I don't see them to the host community. So even in point of employment and otherwise, I don't know what they are doing now to ensure that our people who are the hosts are benefiting adequately, left, right, and center, educationally, health-wise, and otherwise. In fact, those days we used to see the NESCO welfare boss taking staff and host community to hospital and bringing them back, even on shopping days. I don't know, that thing seems to be dead. And the houses that they were building, a lot of our people were benefiting from it, their staff and otherwise. But it seems now those houses have been on sale. I don't know whether the regulation is only regulating about the distribution and not about the welfare of the communities. Please, thank you very much, and God bless us.
Thank you very much, Honorable Stephen Kim, the ultimate, for your contribution from Barkinladi. Thank you. 08125886048. Yes, when you talk about power, indeed, it is power talk. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Krankes Kadung, calling you from Chip, aka Majority Leader.
Go ahead, Krankes.
I want to appreciate our guests in this morning. When I was hearing what they are saying, I was trying to at least say to government to bring NESCO closer to us in rural areas. But I heard Stephen Kings is complaining about NESCO.
You actually...
Okay, NESCO.
Good. Go ahead.
Issue of NEPA in our rural areas, in Pushik particular. We don't have NEPA any longer. They say that we should pay bill, estimated bill. We don't have prepared meters. I learned that 2 years back or so, they bring some prepared meters and they fix it for some few people in Pushik, those that they are doing weldering. But they didn't give everybody, I don't know why. Because we are paying estimated bill. So we need this prepared meter in rural areas.
Okay.
And then please, I want to appeal to you to put more effort issue of light, because we don't have light. We don't have light any longer in Chip. Mangu local government in general. So put more effort and try as much as possible so that we should have this prepared meter.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Krankes. Thank you. Okay. Prepared meters being taken round, not just the urban areas, but then the rural areas too. Okay, then there's a contribution here that says, I paid off my debt before I was given a meter. It was the condition they gave at the time, but they're still charging me what I'm paying for then. That's the contribution. That's to you, yes, Jed. Okay, well, hold on. We'll let's gather the questions and then we will now respond to them. But I'm sure Jedman, you'd have to. Is a contributor. The person didn't give a name. All right, so let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Pamjoel, and good morning, the three days in the studio.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I am Gorzo Kopnikwa, calling from Pansi.
All right, go ahead, Gorzo.
Thank you, Mr. Pamjoel. The 3 days you have spoken very well about the Plateau State Electricity Regulatory Commission. But my most concern is that we have been facing with a lot of estimated billing and overbilling and blackout here and there. The issue of national grid collapse has affected the power sector. That's why the huge allocation allocated to the power sector. Many of the small business owners like the barbers, the welders, and many other businesses depend on the electricity to boost their businesses. But some of them depend on the petroleum or gas to boost their businesses. They're supposed to have uninterrupted power supply. But in this country, we have a power megawatts of 3,000 to 4,000 megawatts instead of 6,000 to 10,000 megawatts. The issue of vandalization has affected the power sector, and people should try to safeguard the electricity facility in their domain. Therefore, the issue of corruption has affected the power sector, because some of the staff of the electricity distribution companies and the NESCO are engaged in sharp practices. And many people depend on the solar energy. In advanced countries, Mr. Pamde, they have 24 hours uninterrupted power supply. But in Nigeria, honestly, you hardly have to 6 to 7 hours, which is very worrisome. And not any investors would like to come and invest where there is no power supply. The issue of power in this country has been politicized. Where the former minister of power has been convicted.
So go ahead, make your point. Make your point now.
Saying that the electricity bill of NESCO is very expensive, which many people cannot afford. Even the scripture said that where there be light and there was light. And many people in the rural area do not have the prepared meter, which is very worrisome. But my question to the guest is that I want to know the difference between the bank aid customer and the bank bill customer. That is my own opinion, Mr. Power, and the three guests in the studio. Have a wonderful weekend ahead, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Gorzo Kopdi from Pangshin. Now let's go to Facebook. On Facebook, we have Bawal Singh Ayuba, he says, good morning, honorable engineers in the studio and the presenter. What are the functions of the communities in terms of taking good care of electricity equipment like falling poles, disconnected wires, and faulty cables connection of electricity appliances? Good morning, Ayuba, Bawal Singh, Emmanuel from Rayfield. We have Usman Dambawa saying, so good watching you live from Abuja. Nandom Isaac is saying, good morning to you all in the studio. Please, presenter, help me to ask and regulate my question. 1, is prepaid meters free or to be sold? 2, why is stopping JED or NEPA from supplying prepaid meters? Okay, so it should be what is stopping JED or NEPA from supplying prepaid meters in Mungu? This one says, bring them on video. Okay, that's a repeated message there. Okay, that's it. Let's take this call again and then come back. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Isaac Isse from Julius.
Isaac, bring down the volume of your radio set.
Yes, thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask the guest a question.
Go ahead.
My question is, I have observed over time that whenever it is raining, then electricity will cease, the power will cease. Why is it so? I want to ask the engineers in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that's a straightforward question. When it's raining, why does it go off? That's power. Why does power go off when it's raining? Let's take one more and then we get your responses. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Go ahead. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Tobias and I'm calling from Bukuru.
Okay, Tobias from Bukuru. Go ahead.
Yes. Sometimes we have a challenge with staff of distribution companies, particularly NEPA. Sometimes they come under the pretext of checking faulty connections or checking the light, and then they remove certain cables that are good, and then they will come and replace them with cables that are substandard. We've had these allegations by supposed JED staff coming under the pretext of fixing fault, and then they end up substituting good cables for bad ones. I hope that they have mechanisms of auditing, in other words, checking who does what, because it has a way of giving the company bad name. So I hope that the transmission companies will look into that aspect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tobias from Bukuru. All right. Yes, JED, you have the of the complaints. Let's go with you.
Okay, thank you. Let me start with Tobias from Bukuru that just made the last comment regarding some of the JED staff coming to check, or in the guise of checking certain things, and remove quality items and replace those substandard. We always call on community to take ownership. We might not be everywhere. We cannot be able to foot Agati each and every of our installation. But however, we are putting various mechanisms to ensure that our staff are genuine, or you can identify them anywhere. So whenever you see somebody come to make a repairs or maintenance in your substation, demand for his ID card. And we have made our ID card with a QR code. As you can see, if you scan on the QR code, it will tell you whether it is genuine or not, so that nobody should go and just print ID card anywhere. All our ID card are QR code readable, so you should at least try to see to get that. We made it clear during or in the last engagement we had yesterday, and we equally put it on our social media handles. We have the Power Watch. The Power Watch is not only for energy theft, equally for airing staff. If you feel that a staff is corrupt or doing anything illegal, just get his detail and report through the Power Watch. We ensure that we do the necessary and we take necessary steps to address such issues. So if there are issues and you are suspecting anyone, do the necessary to get his detail and report that to us. Mr. Isaac complained, even though this one is generic, he said, why is the power off when it is raining? Actually, it's not supposed to have tripped, but it's a protection device, or it's a protection mechanism that is there. So it's not the raining that is tripping the power, but possibly maybe the ionization or a tree close to the line. As it is now, especially within inside town, there are areas that people don't even allow us to trim trees to create that clearance, the right of way clearance that is needed. When there is breeze, the breeze will come close to the power lines and the trees will touch. When it touch, the line will trip as a form of protection to prevent issues from de-escalating or grounding the line to affect other people. So it's not supposed to be. Somebody, Mr. Ayuba Nansim, he asked, is prepaid meter free? Yes, prepaid meter is free. It's not to be sold. He said, why is there no prepaid meter in Mangu? Yes, we are doing the prepaid metering in phases. We're starting with band A. When we are done with band A, we'll go to band B. Mangu, I think, is on band C or D. So definitely it will come to you. But we are doing in phases, and it's free of charge. Bolsim Ayuba from I don't know, Bolsim Ayuba is like from Bukuru or from where? He said community taking care of electricity. Yes, Mr. Bolsim, taking care of electricity installation is our own property, but we encourage community to put eyes on our installation because they are the immediate users of this asset. If it is vandalized, it will still take maybe the resources that you take to upgrade or improve on the quality. You ended up using the same resources to replace a vandalized item. So community taking care of that is not a bad idea, but it's a win-win to the electricity company and equally to the customers. Mr. Gorzo Pangshin, he talked about the estimated bill and he said, yes, there is no power. All the estimated bills were given customers is purely something that is from the regulator, because we don't just bill customers like that. As it is, there is what is called cap energy on each of the feeder, and month on month we get that cap energy from the regulator. How do the regulator get that cap energy? They're using the average of those people with prepaid meter, how much they bended, how much energy they bended in a month. So it's the average of that they give us to say that, okay, bill all the customers without meter on that feeder, this capped energy. So it's not something that we do arbitrarily, but it's something that is being watched by the regulator, and if we do anything outside that, we stand to be penalized by regulator because they are getting whatever we built and they looked at it. So he equally talked about the issue of the corruption. Like I said in the first instance, if you have any area staff on the Power Watch, maybe before the end of this program, Saratu will give the numbers to report such issues, and so that if you have any staff or anybody that you feel that is not doing well, is not doing good to the company or to the community, you report. So band A and band C feeders, there are difference. Band A is 20 to 24 hours. The band C is between 12 hours to 15 hours. So that's how the bands are, and the regulator made it clear for each, and they are watching, they are monitoring to ensure that we comply with that provision. Equally, there is a Mr. Kadonkis, majority leader, aka Krankes, Abi?
Yeah, Krankes.
From Mangu.
Yeah, Push It. From
yes,
Push It.
Mangu. So he's equally talking about estimated bill. I've addressed issue of estimated bill. He say, is there no PPM in the rural areas? The PPM will come to the rural areas, but much later. We are still trying to cover the band A. The band A is not yet in the rural areas, but when we are done with the town, we are able to give everybody 24 hours within the town. Definitely will come to the rural areas, and they will equally be on 24 hours supply. Somebody made mention that he has paid his debt in full, and yet the debt is still towed back. If he has any evidence that he has paid his debt in full, please reach to any of our office with the evidence of the payment. We looked at it and know where the problem is. Why should you pay your debt and we still factor the same debt on your meter? So it's something that we looked at it, and we'll address that. I don't know if I've joined any. These are the one I've taken note. If there's any other one, you can please call my attention later.
No, for now you have handled all the ones that came. So let's come to NESCO. Two callers actually talked about NESCO. One, Gorzo Steel talked about your billing being on the high side. Excuse me. Then Stephen Kim, the ultimate, talked about social services for the host community.
Okay, thank you. The issue of billing in NESCO, our availability is very high, and that's why when you talk of efficiency, people will talk about NESCO and NESCO and NESCO. The reason is that we have this comparative advantage, having command over the integrated value chain. You are generating, you are transmitting, you are distributing. You have command to say, at this point, this is the maximum demand. I need to generate this to give exactly what the customers need. And this has made the availability to improve. That is to show the advantage we have. So we ensure that customers truly have value for their money, in the sense that we are always trying to ensure that the bands are adequately supplied. Sometimes we even supply above the band structures just to compensate customers and make them feel happy and know that the availability of NESCO in their community, it's as at a benefit. And so because of that availability and reliability, the billing is always commensurate with their consumption. Now, why many of our customers sometimes feel that they overbuild is that once this very high availability, the customer has also a tendency of consuming very high. But they will understand, because at every time you enter your house, they supply, and then you are bound to use it. At the end of the day, when you look back, you discover that for 24 hours you used this supply throughout maybe 12 hours, 8 hours. Unlike when they are constantly load shedding, you come in, there's no supply. But as long as they supply, you consume. And then at the end of the day, when you check the metering status, you discover that this customer has actually consumed very high, and so the bill has to be commensurate with what he has consumed.
For now, are you also doing prepaid?
Yes, that's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
I want to let us know that NESCO is not funded by any government or any agency from anywhere. NESCO is self-reliant, it funds itself. Unlike what my colleague said, federal government interventions, we are not giving metering.
It's not free. Even our is not free.
Yes, we don't have the luggage to even say borrow us, federal government. NESCO is not enjoying this free metering, but currently NESCO is also doing mass metering that the customers are actually saying is free. But for other discos, federal government has given them to pay in bits, but NESCO has to pay through the nose at once to ensure that this metering prepaid meters are available, to also quell these issues of estimated billing. Yes, because the availability is very high, we are also not happy. That is what my colleague talked about, the losses. People consume and consume and consume, but they want to pay small. So that has made us to also key into the issue of mass metering at NESCO's court, not a borrowed money. And then the issue of CSR. You know, when this company was introduced in those days, these things were happening. Even now, they are still happening. But as I said, we have been bedeviled with issues of vandalism, wear and tear of the machines that are close to 100 years. A lot of things have changed. Now, how do we survive? How do we sustain this business? It is through these little savings we are able to get from customers' payment of bills that will be able to continue to service the machines and also give back to the society. But these machines are also very old, needs replacement. If we do not save a little to do the replacement, it is also going to be very impossible. However, NESCO has inaugurated a CSR department that is going to look critically into the issue of community. Currently, what we do is, our power stations are located in the rural areas, and there are roads linking to these places. We maintain them on a regular basis. If you go to, for example, Kura, you will discover that when our people are going to a power station, a lot of people are at the back, and these people do not belong to our staff strength. They are the communities. We also carry them. If they are coming to Barakin Ladi from Kura, you see them carrying them. And then we also had a healthcare facility there, which we had retainership, but currently it has gone down. But
what about employment?
What we do in terms of employment is we advertise.
Okay.
And because of these complaints, we send these adverts to community heads, development associations within our catchment areas for them to share on their own platforms for their people to apply. But there are some other ones that are basic, normal labor.
Okay.
These are gotten from the local communities, even as at today.
For want of time, let me come to the engineer for talking about PSERC. Yes, Engineer Agati. In a minute, sir, what do you make of all of these from the callers, their point, and then going forward? What will be different this time around for Plateau State in terms of power?
What will be different in terms of power is that with the presence of PSERC that's in the state being very close, we'll give them all the necessary support, and we create the necessary laws to improve their power and to also make sure that things go accordingly.
Okay, interesting. But for the benefit of the JED man, I won't be the one to be doing that. You say you have a whistleblower policy.
Yes.
The people will be interested. Let's have that before we go.
Okay, thank you. Just like I said, if you have complained, if you have seen anything wrong within your area, you please call this number 0707 470 8467, or you call 0911 888 2205. I'll take it again. 0707 470 8467, 0911 888 2205. These are the numbers to call if you have any sin you observe on the network, be it your neighbor, be it anybody that is tampering with our network from our staff or anyone. You can report. Send a text message, send a WhatsApp message to these numbers. We will ensure that we do, but don't call this number because it's a whistleblowing number and we don't make it for call to take the voice of anyone.
My God, can you do it in 10 seconds? 10 seconds quick.
Yes, we are also doing that discount promo for customers who have outstanding bills.
You have to pay me that one.
You have to pay. And then if you have issues, you can also report to our customer care 07039232009. You can call us if you have any issues and let us know.
Thank you very much. The production crew has been led by the executive producer Rita Kacholompam, the supervising producer Hudungiang. We have the producer, Esther Nasara is also the supervising producer. The producer of the program, Engr Samuel, co-produced by Sam Titus, that is Samaila Maaku, the studio manager, the technical officer Alexander Azi. We have from the ICT Selbol Simon. We have Tikam, I hope I got that right. Zumbem, there is Selma, is it Pahir? Sorry about that. It should be clear. IT students from Plateau State University, Bokos, and of course from the newsroom.